Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a 2020 Chevy 3500 High Country that's a dually. Now this is probably going to be the only Chevy dually that I review for the 2020 model year. That's why I picked out the High Country. And of course a huge thanks and shout out to Chevy here in Murray, Utah for providing us with this High Country. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description below. If you are in the market for a new Chevy, definitely check them out. Let's get into the video. Looking under the hood here of the 2020 3500, we have the 6.6 liter Duramax that's paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission from Allison. Power outputs are 445 horsepower and then 910 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over things on the front end of the 3500 High Country. So just like all the other Chevy heavy duties, it's got that little venting at the top just to make it look cooler. And then you have the badging for the Allison and the Duramax, all the normal stuff. But coming down below, you can see that we've got this cool kind of like goldish bronze trim for the High Country. Now the lights, they are full LED lights, and these accent lights have really grown on me. I didn't like them initially, but seeing them on the road and all that, I actually really like it. And the front end in general has actually kind of grown on me, believe it or not. Now we've got parking sensors there on the front, and then we've got the tow hooks right next to the little fog lights, and well, that's everything for the front of the dually. Let's come around the side to go over the tire and rim setup. So we've got two 35mm tires and 17-inch rims, which is pretty typical for a dually. Same thing in the rear, and that's just kind of how they usually set them up from what I've seen in the past. Here's kind of a look up into the suspension there at the front, or at least partial look. High Country badging on the side, and then you got the 3500 badging. This one does have these side steps there on the side. And then here's kind of like your full profile on the dually from the side angle. Here's our key fob for the 3500. I've got a couple functions. You've got the unlock and the lock function. It does have remote start, so to remote start it, you do have to lock it, and then you hold down the remote start function. And what you can hear, it's pretty quiet out of the exhaust tip there on the side. And then when you are done with that, you just hold that down again, and then that'll shut it all off. The next function is the tailgate drop down. So you just press that button twice, and that'll slow lower down the rear tailgate. Now this one does have a bed liner from the factory. It is a spray-in, which is what I prefer. We've got some plug-ins there, and then you've got the little LED light, and then you actually do get a real power outlet back here as well. And then you can see there at the very back, says High Country if you forgot what you were driving when you're loading stuff up into your truck bed. And then you got like the cargo camera, all that up at the top, which we'll show later. Now lifting up the bed, it's actually really light. It's easy to get into place. And now taking a step back, you've got your regular badging, Silverado, High Country, all that kind of stuff. Now the cool part is over here we do have a little step that'll help getting in and out of the truck, and then we do get the LED lights in the back, which again, these have kind of grown on me, but it's cool to see it from the rear. We'll go over this side so you can get kind of like a better view just with the dually and all of that. Now before we go over the door, I want to show something kind of funny. So you have the one step here, and then you have the other step there on the side, so it's like step to step, just interesting. But here's the little diesel cap, and then for your DEF, that's where you're going to fill up both of those. Now that locks it, and then press it again, that'll unlock it. Looking at the door panel here in the back, you've got the nice leather trim here with the wood trim there. It actually feels nicer than what's on the LTZ. Got some extra storage right down below, and notice we've got some cables back here, obviously for the winter time since it is a diesel. And then there's some storage behind that part of the seat, and then lifting up the seat, there's some extra storage underneath. Now we are going to step in, and these side steps make getting in a lot easier with the truck. Now legroom, I mean, yeah, speaks for itself. It's got a ton of legroom, and in terms of headroom, again, I've got a decent amount of headroom with the truck as well. Now there are some cup holders at the top there, and then we do have some heated seats, a couple little USBs, and then a 12-volt as well. Finally, before we pop out of the back, here's the armrest with some more cup holders. Coming up front, again, we've got keyless entry, so one touch to lock it, and then press it again, that'll unlock it. Here are the mirrors. I'm going to show you more functions on them later, but they are gigantic. They show everything. Now here's the door panel at the front. It looks identical to the rear. The materials feel all the same as in the rear. We do get some window controls up here, mirror controls, which we're going to go over those in a minute. This truck does come with memory seats. Get the Bose sound system with it. And we got the High Country logo there at the top. Now the seats themselves in the front very nicely bolstered, and this is definitely softer to the touch than what is in the LTZ. Power adjustments on the side of the seat. There's your pedal layout down below, and then you've got the little parking brake Light controls are on this little area, and then you've got like your fog lights, your cargo light, and then this is for your drive modes. Down below is for the drive line. So you've got your auto, 2-wheel high, 4-wheel high, 4-wheel low. Steering wheel is manually adjustable, and then here's one more look before we actually hop in. Now we do have to just press this to start it up. Now if the truck is cold, it'll do the whole preheat for you. Everything will come to life, including the AC that's on a little bit too high. But zooming out, here's the whole view of the steering wheel in the 3500 High Country. Zooming in, you've got your controls for the center stack, your voice command, phone controls. The leather on the outside of the steering wheel is a little bit smoother to the touch, and you got the nice stitching on the inside. Got your collision assistance over here, heated steering wheel, and then the cruise control. And then behind the steering wheel, you've got your stock for the windshield wipers and the turn signal. And then over here, this is the column shifter for that 10-speed automatic. You can shift the gears yourself with those little buttons right there. Coming in, got the RPMs on that side, got the speed on the other side, and then here in the center, it is in demo mode, so I don't have full access to everything. You can see some of the functions you have, like the navigation, phone controls, and then just general information on the truck. So pretty similar to what most other vehicles have nowadays, and it's just Chevy's upgraded center gauge cluster. I did say I was going to touch base more on the mirrors, so they are power folding in. So you do have that function. You can see my camera there, and you can even like do a little dance with them. But they are power folding and they are power extending, so you press that button and it'll extend them out, which is nice. Obviously, if you are towing a trailer, which if you're buying a dually, I hope you're towing a trailer with them. But yeah, those are the kind of features on the mirror. Now, first off, in the infotainment system, we are going to go over the camera system, and this backup camera will automatically pop on when you pop it into reverse. We're actually on the wrong camera there. But there, that's what'll pop up when you pop it in reverse. You get the bird's eye view and the backup camera, and the lines will turn with the steering wheel, which is a nice little touch. You get a little frontal camera, and then you got like zoom in angles on it. And yeah, I'm in love with Chevy's camera system because it shows everything on the truck. I mean, especially that angle, that's gonna help out a ton with a dually, just parking the truck, maneuvering it, all that kind of stuff. Just has so many different views. Another cool thing is you get the zoom in, and then it does have a cargo camera if you are gonna be towing a fifth wheel with it. And then this one does have that little like invisible trailer system right there. Obviously I don't have a trailer on, so there's a lot of these functions I can't use, but yeah, it's a solid system and I really like that part of it. Now the rest of the infotainment system, touch response time on it is really solid, and you do get Android Auto and Apple CarPlay with it. Other than that, it's just a good infotainment system that has good touch response. Here are our analog controls for the radio. Down below we have our analog controls for the climate. It is a dual zone climate. Now we do have heated and ventilated seats up front in the High Country. This is for the windows. So you press that and all 4 windows go up or go down, but you press it again and you have to like manually put them back up. That is for the power outlets, and then you get your stability control, your hazard lights. That is to drop down the tailgate or put it back up, which is pretty neat. Got the little parking sensors, the lane departure assist, diesel exhaust brake. Trailer brakes are in this little area. And then you got a couple charging areas like a full power outlet. Truck does come with wireless charging. And then over here is just storage. Got a couple cup holders in this area. And then you have the full center console with all the leather. Opening it up, we do get a couple more USBs, and then it's massive. I mean, you can store a ton of stuff inside of it. Up top here, we actually do get a sunroof in the High Country, and the controls for it are on the sides. Now that middle one is for the power rear setting window. So pretty simple setup right there. Headliner is black on the High Country, and then this one does have that trick mirror. So it's got the camera in the mirror, and you can see the, well, my Raptor in the back. But yeah, you've got the little camera system in the mirror, which is a nice little touch. Now that we're done going over the interior on this High Country, let's quickly talk about pricing. So this particular Chevy 3500 High Country with the dually and all the features it has, stickers for about $80,000 for any type of market adjustment, which I know this is kind of weird for me to say, but I feel like that's actually a really good price because Ford and Ram's equivalent like fully loaded dualies are like $90,000 to $100,000. So this is actually quite a bit cheaper, and I mean, it's got a ton of tech in it as well, so I feel like it's a really good value. That all being said, let's take this 3500 out and see how it drives. Let me briefly talk about visibility here on the dually before we set off. Visibility over the hood is pretty decent. There's some stuff happening out the hood, so it does get in the way just a little bit. Visibility through these mirrors, I mean, it's fantastic. They're massive. They show everything. You can see visibility through the other mirror, and you can see that the mirrors show the humps of the dually, so it does help out there. And then here's everything else all throughout the rear. So from a visibility standpoint, it's pretty much just like any other truck. It's just wider. We are initially setting off here in the 2020 Chevy 3500 High Country dually, and let's talk about road noise and ride quality to start things off. So first and foremost, on the ride quality side of things, it feels a little bit rougher compared to a regular 3500. It's just barely perceivable. That's kind of all I have to say on that. It's just a little bit rougher than a regular 3500. From the noise perspective, it's the same. You hear the same amount of diesel noise. Tire noise actually seems a little bit less, and I mean, I suspect it's from the smaller rims and the smaller tires as well. But yeah, I mean, it's still comfortable. It still feels kind of like a luxury truck. And we actually are going to be making our first turn here with this massive truck, which actually is not hard to turn at all. It's really easy to turn, surprisingly. So from a turning perspective, this truck's really solid. Now, I totally forgot to mention steering when I talked about turning. So yes, the turning radius on this truck's, I mean, it's not the best, but it's actually pretty easy to turn it. The steering feel is average. It has the same amount of vagueness that any other truck of this size is going to have. It's all the same on that side of things. So I guess just from a turning perspective, it's identical to any other High Country 3500. Nothing has changed there. And yeah, that's all. Now we are about to get our acceleration, and if you're wondering, yes, we are going in the opposite direction as normal. That's because there's a massive car accident, but see how she goes. Ooh, she slipped there a little bit. Yeah, that was kind of interesting. This heads up display is pretty interesting too. But yeah, it's got a ton of power. I'm impressed with the power, and I really don't feel like it needs more power. Now, I forgot to mention in the video, the max towing capacity on these dualies is 35,000 pounds if you get two-wheel drive, single cab, which nobody buys. If you get something more of this setup, obviously that is going to decrease the towing capacity significantly because of the extra stuff, right? You add a crew cab, that adds weight. You add the High Country with all the leather and all the technology this has, that adds weight. So that all decreases the towing capacity. But, and also four-wheel drive will decrease it. But I mean, still, it's pretty solid with this High Country package, just from an acceleration standpoint and a towing capacity standpoint. As I'm taking my last turn here in the dually, let's sum things up with this High Country. So if you are looking for a work-based truck, but you live out of your truck, so you want something nice on the interior, that's where I really see this dually stand. And that's why I understand it's kind of like a lower volume truck, because most people are going to get work trucks, are going to want something that's just base model interior. But there are some people that do stuff like hot shodding and all that, where they want something nice on the interior, and that's where this truck would stand out. It has a good towing capacity, it has a nicer interior, has the nicer technology features, all that kind of stuff. And in terms of comparing this to Chevy, or not Chevy, this is a Chevy, Ram and Ford, yes, Ram's interior is a little bit, well, it is nicer than this. From the towing perspective, they're pretty much neck and neck. Ford has more power, more torque. Interior is, you know, a little bit nicer, but not that much nicer. And so this actually is still a really solid offering to go for if you're looking for a dually 3500. And there we have it, everyone. The 2020 Chevy 3500 High Country, obviously with a dually package. That all being said, again, a huge shout out and thank you to Larry H. Miller Chevy here in Murray for providing us with this High Country. Check out the inventory in the link below if you're in the market for a new Chevy. If you're stopping for the first time, please subscribe, and then I will see all of you in that next video.